28.
Oh my God.
We're gonna take action on closed session items as necessary. Item A, consideration to approve the contract renewal of administrative personnel for the 2024-2025 school year.
The recommendation is to approve the contract renewal of administrative personnel for the 2024-25 school year.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
There's a motion by Ray, second by Gabriel. Any further discussion? Take for a vote. Motion passes unanimously. Motion passes 7-0.
6.
Oh, 6-0, sorry. No, somebody do that. All right, item B, consideration to approve the contract renewal of professional staff, including non-chapter 21 professionals for the 2024-2025 school year.
The recommendation is to approve the contract renewal of professional staff, including non-Chapter 21 professionals for the 24-25 school year, as discussed in closed session.
Is there a motion?
I motion, but, to include, information on the, fellow, ¿cómo se llama? Data on, for next year.
What?
And we'll discuss if we're gonna get the grant again, the fellow data or not. He's gonna look into it and let us know, but to approve, the person next.
Okay.
Motion made by Ray. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gabriel. Any further discussion? Let's put it to vote. Motion passes unanimously 6-0. Consideration to approve the non-renewal of classroom teachers' term contract.
The recommendation is to approve the non-renewal of a classroom teacher's term contract as discussed in closed.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that, we take no action.
Motion by Ray. Take no action. Is there a second?
I second it.
Taken by Gabriel. Is there any discussion? Put it to vote. Those who oppose? Opposed? Motion does not pass, 5-2.
And are we gonna make an alternate motion?
Is there an alternate motion? 4-2, I'm sorry. 4-2.
I guess my motion would be per discussion in executive session with the attorney to not renew.
Yeah, but that's not a motion. I mean, you have to state here what's there. I mean, we discussed a lot of things with the attorney.
Yeah, but if we don't take,
I mean, you have to say to approve the non-renewal or not to approve. In mine, it was, no action which would have brought the person back. You have to make a motion saying that, not what we discussed with the attorney, you have to say, you have to make the motion saying that,
oh, what it says here, basically.
basically, you know,
Which is the superintendent's your.
Right. The
Recommendation.
was to approve the non-renewal of a classroom teacher term contract.
Oh. I move.
And then Mr. Espinosa said, your recommendation was no action?
To take no action?
No action. My recommendation was take no action, was seconded by Gabriel, but it was voted
4-2.
4-2.
Motion.
So now there's
failed,
no
4-2, so-
motion.
So it goes back to approve the non-renewal. Motion by Nora. Is there a second?
To what now?
For the recommendation of,
For non-renewal?
For the non-renewal?
I'm still for that one.
You second?
So does our vote stand?
No, who second? Is there a second?
I'm not seconding that.
I second it.
Second by Sammy?
Tell me again what they're seconding. I'm very tired.
This is for the non-renewal as discussed in closed session.
Okay.
for an employee.
Okay, so,
To bring them back.
Yep. Okay.
so is there any further discussion? Those for non-renewal? Those against? Motion passes 4-2. Item D, consideration to approve to terminate the probationary contract of classroom teachers at the conclusion of the 2023-2024 school year in the best interest of the district.
The recommendation is to approve to terminate the probationary contract of classroom teachers at the conclusion of the 23-24 school year. Subject to extend the time for resignation until this coming Thursday is the recommendation.
Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Motion by Ms. Young. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Mr. Mata, I just want to say, I just want to be sure that Mr. Alvarado will do what we discussed in executive session?
Yes.
Starting tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Those in favor? Okay. 4. Those against? Motion passes 4-2. Consideration, item E, consideration to approve the reemployment of the at-will personnel for the 2024-2025 school year.
I move.
The recommendation,
I'm sorry,
that's okay.
I'm tired.
The recommendation is to approve the reemployment of the at-will personnel for the 24-25 school year.
Mr. Mata.
Motion by Nora, is there a second?
I second it.
Is there any further discussion or questions?
Discussion right quick, check if, or any notes taken on anybody we're discussing, and we're bringing everybody here, or anything that we might have discussed.
And this is pending
Take it.
the superintendent, if we have funding, right?
Everything says there, if funding available.
Because I'm really concerned. We have had no budget talks, zero budget talks, and I'm very late in the year, and I'm, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Item F, consideration to approve the 2024 summer programs at will personnel.
The recommendation is to approve the 2024 summer programs at-will personnel.
Is there a motion?
I move.
I second it.
Any questions or discussion? Those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Come on. G, consideration to approve the employment of new professional staff.
The recommendation is to approve the employment of new professional staff.
I move.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion or questions? No? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Make it.
H.
Oh.
H is next.
Consideration to approve the employment of new at-will staff.
The recommendation is to approve the employment of new at-will staff.
Move.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Second, okay. Is there any questions or discussion? All in favor? 6-0, motion passes. Consideration, item I, consideration to approve the compensation of the administrator in charge for additional duties and responsibilities.
Mr. Mata,
Monday.
this, just to avoid any conflict of interest, you make the recommendation.
Can you read it?
I recommend that we approve the compensation for the administrator in charge for additional duties and responsibilities.
Motion or second.
Mr. Cepeda, we could make this retroactive, right?
One more time.
We could make this retroactive, right? Okay.
And Mr. Espinosa seconded.
Rosemary,
Is there any further discussion?
Café.
All in favor? Motion passes 6-0.
Desmond's
All
fault.
right, concession, item A, number 8, concession action items. A, consideration to approve the minutes for the board meetings held on April 5th, 2024, regular session.
Are we doing them together? A
I
consent?
want to do, can we do a blanket?
Yes.
If she recommends.
The recommendation is to approve the minutes for the board meeting held on April 15th and to approve the monthly bills for April of 2024.
Motion.
Could I ask something while we're on the monthly bills? I've asked for this and asked for this. Is there any way that we can get revenues and expenditures in our finance part of our packet? So we know where we're at? I mean, I asked for it like a month ago, but I mean, it's not, it can't be that difficult to put in our packet. Thank you, Mr. Cepeda.
Expenditures and what else, Peggy?
Revenue.
Revenue.
Revenues and expenditures. I mean, at least we'll know then what we're spending and what we're getting in.
I had a question on page 90. On action, on the discussion as to approve the 22 summer program calendar and wages. No tiene the motion.
That's true. Just says, that's true, no tiene motion who voted against me. That's true.
True.
No, digo, you're right.
Was tabled or,
No, we voted,
pero no tiene,
but then Mr. Bonilla made an ultimate motion.
is it supposed to be on there or?
I think it's kinda,
I wasn't here for this meeting, so I was just.
era esta.
Ms.
What
Cervera.
we did, I mean, when we're on the salaries, I voted to go ahead and give the increase to the custodians, the bus drivers, cafeteria. And I think Gabriel seconded. And then there was an alternate motion by Mr. Bonilla to table it.
So it's missing that.
Yeah, to table it, so the motion to table passed 4-2.
So where are we at now?
Okay, so then,
We already had the meeting on that, I think it was
On B,
The one we had at noon.
12 and noon.
Just to make the corrections on that, and that's, right?
With the corrections?
With corrections, yeah, with the corrections as mentioned by Mr. Espinosa, Ray Espinosa. So there was a motion by Mr. Ray Espinosa, is there a second?
second.
Changes, second by Gabriel. Any further discussion or questions? No? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Number 9, discussion, 9A, discussion action to approve the upgrading of the Javelina track and field as proposed during the February 19, 2024 board meeting project to begin in May 2024 with an expected completion date of August 2024.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Aquí viene la javelina track and football field and the tennis. Yet over here viene softball and baseball.
Those are just pictures.
These are just pictures.
We're gonna vote.
That's good, because we don't need softball and baseball. AstroTurf right now. The only thing we need is the track, the tennis, and the football.
That's why we have only,
Softball and baseball can wait, they already have a.
Carol and
we
Mr.
only
Cepeda?
have 8B, A and B.
Softball, to me, I mean, softball and baseball,
That's not a,
that's a luxury. We need tennis and football and track. Maybe 5 years later, we can go with this.
on the agenda, we only have A, which would be the track, and B, the tennis.
Questions?
I have,
I have a question. I've been getting a lot of concerns from parents, that if we approve this tonight, the graduation's gonna have to be changed and all that. I mean, is it true or?
No, that's not true. I'm not sure where that came from.
Because it says here begin in May 2024, so
That's
that's,
probably where it came from, yeah. Talking to the vendor, he said pushing it to after graduation is not a big deal, it's not at all.
From Larry, you can go to sleep. You got your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's what the little girls.
Could have asked Desmond, instead of waiting all this time here.
No one seemed to know the answer.
Well, that's a man.
To say the answer.
I think that, I'm not too sure how, I mean, I know it says that, but rest assured that me in part, I mean, I'm sure the rest of my colleagues would agree, we would never do anything to ruin it for the seniors. We've seen it ruined before on class of 2020 because of COVID. I mean, they didn't have anything. So for, you know, for something so negative to spread so fast was disheartening. I would never do.
I don't know who started that rumor, but that was never considered.
I appreciate you ladies for staying. It's important to us too.
You know, just know that.
you're certain it wouldn't be like during graduation?
No,
Start-
his
graduation?
start date will be June 1st, right after graduation. End date is looking at July 31st. So we saved a day, till August 1st.
You can go tonight and decorate if you want.
No, I'm gonna go let my daughter go to sleep now.
Right.
It's here. Husband?
Any other questions?
My questions are for Mr. Cepeda. This is an action item, and you want us to approve it tonight.
Oh,
We're not going to go out for RFPs. I thought anything over 50,000, we had to have 3 RFPs.
We do have different options for procurement. One of those options is for us to go out on a bid, the traditional RFP process. There is another option where you get vendors who have already gone through the RFP process, which are vendors that participate in a co-op. So the vendor that we're proposing is already on a co-op. And that's part of the procurement process that we have in policy. That's on page 15 of 17 of our state policy.
Let me ask you something else.
Yes, ma'am.
How much is our fund balance right now, today?
Right now, I came prepared because I knew you all were gonna ask that question. So our fund balance right now is $5,603,784.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
Unless you know something that the other districts in the state of Texas don't know, we haven't even worked on our budget. I mean, I want this more than anything, but I always look like the meanie because I have to find out where the money's gonna come from. I mean, I know other districts are starting a deficit, but you gotta show TEA where you're ripping. You gotta show them where you are losing all that excess to be in the black. And nobody wants to do that, but bigger districts are doing it. But I'm really worried. I mean, I don't know where the money is gonna come from. I mean, Mr. Ead told us that we were very, gotta be very, very careful. I haven't seen the report from January from TEA yet. I asked for it, but I haven't gotten it yet. I don't wanna be that district that we don't have money to operate, that we, because we still have to get through June, July, August, and we don't know what we're getting in September. We don't know.
So for that reason, we're splitting this project into 2 fiscal years. So, for the track and field, the track part will come out of this year's budget. And that's going to be,
We don't know. We haven't even had a budget workshop, sir.
but this is from this year's budget. That's gonna be, 425,000 from this year's budget. Next year's budget, which is, the question that you have, is where are we gonna come up for the balance of that? So the balance of this particular project will come from the next year's budget, which is 971,000. So next year's budget is going to be extremely tight, and you're absolutely right. You have every right to be concerned about where is this money coming from. So because we don't have the ESSER grants anymore, so we're going back to basics to make sure that we can afford to build and upgrade our stadium and our football field. So we will have that money. I have already begun the budgeting process and the projected revenue piece. We don't have all the pieces of data to come up with the true number for projected revenue, because that doesn't come into us until July, the last month in July. But because we're able to split both this one project into 2 fiscal years, we will be able to do it. Mind you, we won't have that cushion of funds in case of a big emergency pops up. We won't have that in our budget, so we have to be really careful in making sure that we obligate our projected revenue accordingly.
The thing is, if we keep waiting, it's gonna double or triple. It's like they're going up. Nail used to cost 5 cents, now it's 50 cents. Imagine if we try to do a football field, track, and tennis, which our students deserve because of the safety. It's gonna be, Crystal City will never, if we don't do it now, Crystal City will never, ever see.
I think it's an embarrassment. I mean, what this little girl, that
We're interrupted.
patron said, I mean, you have to go practice somewhere else, because, I mean, we don't have a track meet, a track that we can, sooner or later, I mean, if we don't fix a football field, I mean, they might not let us play football there, because, I mean, it's a pretty bad thing. So I know that we're gonna be tight or whatever, but I've been on the board. In November, I'll be my 12th year, and every year we say, we're tied and we're tied, but at the end, we find the funds from whatever to survive. So I'm in favor of it. I mean, we need it.
Another thing that we need to think, I mean, possibly, Mr. Beto can tell you the revenue comes in from the football field. If we built a tennis court, I'm pretty sure a lot of teams are gonna wanna come. Track meets, you can charge up $200 an hour per team. Track meet, you bring 10. Now you're paying off for the budget of the athletic sports. Just imagine what we can do in 5 years. I mean, you should see a concession stand. Divine opened it only because why? Crystal City fans were going. They told me right then and there when the parent heard Crystal City, they made thousands just on the concession stand. I don't know if the concession stand would go towards that. I'm thinking enough football money, track money, and tennis court people will be coming in and we host a tournament because our kids have been doing so well.
Saw the number.
We get a lot of money.
Saw the number of kids we had. I mean, imagine those parents coming to visit. I mean, I would.
But it's not up to Coach Battles to pay our debt. I mean, that goes back.
It's not paying our debt. It's something to the budgets for the other teams. So it's not all bad like you're saying that we're gonna lose. No, we're gonna gain not a lot. And you'll be surprised how many teams will want to come and play in Crystal City, as they did when we opened the softball field. I mean, Bracketville and the Hyenas used to borrow our field every single year until that clock broke. So it's not all gonna be losing. It's gonna be, we need to, like Coach Battle and the other guy told me, football field, we make money out of that money. Tennis, football, and track. I'm telling you, people will come. You host a district track meet. You're talking about $10,000 just like that in track. Those $10,000, now you can budget for the sports. Football, I'm saying about what, 50,000 a year you can bring in easily.
Yeah, the money will, I agree, the money will come with hosting tournaments, hosting track meets, charging teams to come, just like our powerlifting meet they come to every year. That gives us about $8,000 or $9,000 in powerlifting every year.
And especially since tennis is doing good right now, people will want to come to the tennis meet.
Look, I applaud your program. Everybody's talking about you. Everything that our kids have done, they've excelled in everything. But I'm supposed to be a good steward of my taxpayers' money. It is not my money, it is their money. We don't know what we're gonna get in taxes this year. Our ADA is down. We don't know what that, I'm gonna watch my language. We don't know what we're gonna do, what the governor's gonna do until he gets his way. It's very scary times for Texas schools. And I don't wanna be in a deficit. I mean, because you do, you've got to document to TEA, what are you doing to get out of it? You're ripping, you're cutting programs, and who hurts? The kids.
And that, the kids also gain because you
No,
get injuries.
Let's put it to a vote. Yeah, it's late.
I had a question though. So we're looking for the turf.
No, we don't want the,
971,675?
For another.
No, that's,
just a football field, track and tennis.
you gotta resurface it, no lo va a poner nuevo. Just gotta,
And then the
No, barriga.
track renovations, 389,425? Okay, for both, that's $1,361,100. Okay, and you're saying you have a vendor that's giving you this information. Who is it?
Ellis.
Okay.
It's just,
And Hellas is on my board.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're good on the RFPs.
Yes, ma'am.
The thing is, okay, well, yeah.
no turf, yeah.
Well, that's what they're,
it's a resurfacing only, right?
We can go later.
they're saying turf.
It's resurfacing of the track, runways, and it's also including the new high jump mats, pole vault mats. It's including the new shot put and discus rings. We're getting with J&J. And then it's including the new football field, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm talking about softball and baseball turf.
Right, okay. So it's including everything here.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's more than $1 million then.
$1.3 million.
Or 25. That's,
And the 971?
no, that's even more watch. Go.
No, like it's,
Okay, okay.
it's 971 plus 425, 599. Probably a little more.
It's 1,397,274.
How much?
1,397,274.
Ms. Sendejo, their recommendation?
The recommendation is to approve the upgrade of the Javelina Track and Field as proposed during the February 19, 2024 board meeting, project to begin in May 2024 with an expected completion date of August 2024.
Will,
Is there a motion?
I motion, but will, after a second, if there's a second, I'll have to,
Motion by Ray, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gabriel. Any further discussion?
yeah, have a discussion. Can we change the May 24th?
To June. It's
June.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's common knowledge, guys. We're gonna go June.
Yeah, but.
From June
You have to put it
2024.
because people might get the agenda and say,
Yes.
hey, you told us yes, but look, I mean,
Yeah, I get you. Yes, sir.
so we're gonna put it here.
Correction for the record. It's June 2024 with the expected completion date of August 2024.
That way, I mean, if they see it,
My only question or comment is why the tennis courts are 1,359,000? Is that the total for the tennis courts?
The additional 8 total.
But that would be till next year's budget.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we still haven't
We still have to discuss that one. It's the next agenda item.
come with it. So, there's a second by Gerber, all in favor? Anybody opposed?
I'm going to abstain. I just don't think we know enough about our finances to jump off and do this.
One abstention. Motion passes 501. All right. Action item B, discussion action to approve upgrading the existing tennis courts for including lighting as proposed during the February 19, 2024 board meeting, project to begin in the fall of 2025.
The recommendation is to approve upgrading the existing tennis courts for including lighting as proposed during the February 19th, 2024 board meeting. Project to begin in the fall of 2025.
Is there a motion?
Wait, can we talk about it? I mean, I still want a presentation from you guys. I mean, right?
So, yeah, so as far as what we're doing for the tennis court is gonna look a little bit different because my board is, and anybody in the areas can only handle our football field and track. For our tennis courts, we're looking to do that one at RFP, send it out, formally to the public, because I know some vendors around the area, has reached out to me on certain that stuff that's in here, like lighting and stuff like that, that we can do locally. So when we come to approve this one, it's gonna be a formal RFP. We're gonna send it out, wait 10 days, get it back, evaluate our responses, and then make the proper decision with your guidance at that
An
time.
RFP?
Request for proposal.
And they'll be complete, right? You can have tournaments and everything.
Yes, sir. We didn't have bleachers in here. That's it's not added to this. Like, we can add it to it if that's something we want, but it's not added
I
on.
mean, if we're gonna have tournaments and people coming over, we want them to sit somewhere.
Because right now, you guys are looking at the resurfacing, that's only for option 1. Not the option 2 of the 4 new with the additional 4 courts. I know if we had 8 courts, that's possible, hosting a lot more teams, and that can get us a lot more revenue, as well. If we have the additional 4 courts, but the 4 courts of resurfacing is 310 plus 150 allowance, and then 1 million. But like I said, that'll come through RFP, get a better price.
and the 8 would be how much?
The 8th, this is just with the quote, from the two quotes that we went from from ProTurf and Hellas, but Hellas quoted it at 1,355. That's what they quoted us for the additional 4 courts with the lighting allowance. But like I said, at that time, next year, 2025, the month prior, I'm gonna have that in process of going through the RFP process, not just coming to you, hey, we need to get this now because it's time's kind of hitting us. We have the time ahead of us now. It's in our back pocket, so we got the time.
Okay, my question is, if we do the RFP, because of course, like you said, we don't have anybody that's gonna do the turf, but we have people that can do the tennis. Okay, could we start that right away as well? If you go, I mean, why do you wanna wait till fall 2025 to go out for RFPs? What I'm saying is, if you go out for RFPs, I know you're gonna be saving more money than $1 million. What is it, $1,359,000? Because if you go, for example, if you talk to J&J or an electrician from here, they're not gonna be charging you design fees, an allowance, owner contractor allowance, stabilization, improvements. There's just costs that you know you're gonna be able to save. So if you go for the resurfacing and the addition, plus the lights, the restroom, the bleachers, you might not even be looking at $1 million.
We could get that done, give me the okay, and I'll get started on it.
I'm just saying, guys, that,
Why wait?
no, not to wait to do it, but to
Yeah,
give
to start the
them,
process now.
yeah, to give them the authorization to
Get the gavel on the.
RFP and talk to, the local vendors, the people that can actually do this job. Instead of having to go with Hellas and pay all these extra fees, that we can avoid by doing your local RFP. And see what it looks like, see what those bids look like, and get it going right now with the football field, resurfacing and the track resurfacing.
As I want them all done right away, if you tell me what you want.
I mean, it's just my opinion, my recommendation, because why do we have to wait when we haven't even gotten an RFP out for, for the tennis?
When would,
I was told tennis was 2025, that's why I haven't started, but if you tell me that's what you guys, got the option you want to go in, then I can start the offering process.
so when would the tennis building start?
Fall of 25,
That's right now.
So you can't do it like,
unless you guys want to go a different route, then yes, start the process, but I have to walk.
Instead of 25 would be what earlier, I mean, how early or, I know we're talking about money, but win the lotto, one of this.
In my professional opinion, I would hold off on that particular project because we can go out on an RFP and see what kind of pricing comes out. And then we can bring it to you all for decision-making. But if you decide to go ahead and with this project for this coming school year, in addition to what you all just approved, I'm afraid that's gonna be too much stress on our budget. But let's put it out, let's see what the RFP brings back, and we can present it to you all as an informational piece, and then as an action item, should you all wish.
That's fair, I mean,
I would do that. I would, because you don't know,
Yeah.
right? You don't know.
So we have, with your approval, we can begin the RFP process and see what comes out.
What I'm saying is you do know what this company is telling you, but you don't know what an RFP would tell you.
That's correct. So with your permission and your approval, we can go out in an RFP process and see what.
what's it, about a month, so 2 weeks for the advertisement, a week to bring them in, and another week to evaluate the scores. So about a month.
Get a better picture in about a month. And, I mean, look at what we did with the band pad. They wanted to charge us a lot of money, and a local company was able to do it for, oof, a lot less. 100,000 from 500,000. That's what I think. I think, and that way, you avoid so many of the fees that the people from Buy Board attach to their proposals.
But for sure, we have to provide something for those kids.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Gabriel, I agree with you, but I feel that maybe we can, look for something in the area and bring it back in a month.
Que venga más pronto.
Oh, yeah,
And probably cost less, hopefully.
I know it will.
Yeah, yeah. Comienza más.
Because look at the, if you look at the paperwork from Hellas charges you for everything, design fees, you name it. And if they go out for RFPs, exactly what we want, what we need, we could probably get it done
So-
for less,
So hopefully cheaper and faster.
and maybe right away. That we don't put a burden of $1 million, another $1 million on the district. It could be less than that, because they're not gonna be charging a lot of the stuff that Hellas is attaching to these proposals.
Makes sense.
Of course, I agree with the football field. There's nobody here that does turf. But everything else for the tennis courts, there's people around the area that does it.
So who's the contract for the football field again?
Football field, Ellis.
What about the other, was there any other?
Field Turf was another vendor, but looking at the price of square footage and what we're asking for, Hellas came out cheaper.
They're the ones that have been doing most of that in the area, right?
They've done a lot of football fields in the high school area, and I think they're just finished, they're working.
The Dilly. They're doing the Dilly.
Natalia's or who's?
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing Natalia's, Hellas is doing Natalia's.
I don't know how we can put it, either both.
So, the recommendation is to approve upgrading the existing tennis courts for, including the lighting as proposed during the February 19, 2024 board meeting, and consider the RFP process. How does,
Begin,
to begin now?
yeah, to begin the,
To begin the RFP process,
So you want a report within a month for that?
well,
If possible.
They have to,
and then bring it back to the board.
yeah, they have to put it out for an RFP, and like, AD Battle said, they look at everything.
A ver si todo.
Okay, is there a motion on the recommendation?
A motion.
Motion by Sammy. Is there a second?
To go with yours? A second.
Well, not mine, but something that will be for the district.
Gabriel. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
Extension. Motion passes 501.
Mr. Cepeda, I thank you very much for your honesty. I mean, you just have to tell it like it is. We all need to understand. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
C, discussion action to approve the renewal of food service management contract renewal with Southwest Food Service Excellence for 2024-2025 school year.
The recommendation is to approve the renewal of the food service management contract renewal with Southwest Food Service Excellence for the 24-25 school year.
I motion.
Motion
I'll second it.
by Ray, second by Peggy. Any further discussion?
Real quick, did we hire somebody from Crystal to be overlooking that?
Yeah, Mr. Bell.
Who's-
Ana Luz Delgado.
No, just so that it's better that she be on top.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, she's But
I'm sorry,
a lot better than last year when
I'm sorry, I was not supposed to say names.
I see getting a lot better, especially.
I think that will help.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion passes 501. Discussion, D, discussion action to consider approving a resolution to participate in a joint election with the County of Zavala to be held on November 5th, 2024.
The recommendation is to consider approving a resolution to participate in a joint election with the County of Zavala to be held on November the 5th of 2024.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. The discussion action to consider approving the contract for election services for the November 5th, 2024 school board trustee elections.
The recommendation is to consider approving the contract for election services for the November 5th, 2024 school board trustee election.
Motion.
Motion by Ray, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nora. Any further discussion?
I have a question. What is this contract?
Well, they really run the election.
Election.
For election?
Yeah, like in November
that
for the
time of
school
year.
board. So since they're running the November election, we kind of pay them to also run the school. So it's
Together.
where we all get together and.
Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 0. Discussion action to approve the 2024 summer nutrition program budget.
The recommendation is to approve the 2024 summer nutrition program budget.
Motion.
Motion by Ray, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Gabriel. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. G, discussion action to approve the contract with Bethpage Consulting LLC for athletic trainer services for the 2024-2025 school year.
The recommendation is to approve the contract with Bethpage Consulting LLC for athletic trainer services for the 2024-25 school year. Any questions?
Any,
I have a question.
Oh.
We can't just advertise for a trainer. That's a lot of money.
In the area that we're at, no trainers are coming in this area. That's why we're having to go out and bring people that way. Our best bet is to have them fall in love with Arturo's and Dairy Cream, and then they're wanting to stay on their own. But other than that, this is the best route for us for our whole community.
Okay.
But this year, I mean, based on the recommendation, we'll have 2 full trainers here, right?
Yes.
We have 1.5.
Yeah, Daniel and Alex.
Because I've been noticing that sometimes, I mean, like if somebody takes off, like the baseball team that was over there, I mean, there were a couple of injuries and then the track, and we don't have anybody, so it's good to have 2 trainers.
Yeah, this will allow us to operate a lot more kids and see a lot more kids that way. Like you said, one will travel, one will stay back. And instead, if we happen to go 2 at the same place, one will go with the volleyball team, one will go with the football team, and one will go girls. It'll allow us to be a lot more prepared for any injuries. Yes, sir.
Tell them not to give water to an umpire that's not calling right for 10.
Just,
2 innings.
yeah, that was a.
Come on, Nate.
It was bad, but.
Yeah, and props to them.
Oh, I said it already.
They've been like, I've seen them, I've seen them at the tennis, like, they were treating Shem and just trying to get him ready for his match and, props.
Yeah, we hit the lotto with those 2 for sure.
And they, I know, I mean, Ms. Young is saying, I mean, the cost, but I mean, if you also put the number of hours that they work after or contract, I mean,
Oh, I get that. I didn't know trainers were so hard to come by.
they are hard.
And they will leave if they see more.
So the recommendation is to approve the contract with Bethpage Consulting LLC for the athletic trainer services for the 24-25 school year.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. H, discussion action to open the business office manager position for the 2024-2025 school year.
The recommendation is to open the business office manager position for the 24-25 school year.
motion.
Motion by Ray.
Second.
Second by Gilbert. Any discussion? So, I do wanna, so the business manager position would take the place of,
No. No. We are proposing that Mr. Cepeda will stay as our CFO, as a consultant. And we bring in a manager because next year we are looking at bringing everything back from Region 20 back home. And we will need a consultant, to guide us in what the business manager needs to do. We can't guarantee that we're gonna get the most experienced person that's gonna come in ready to go, so we are asking for Mr. Cepeda to still stay as our CFO, as a consultant.
With the same pay,
You don't think a finance director could deal with all that?
It's a little tough. I know we opened, like, the position, payroll clerk, and it was very hard to find somebody that actually has dealt with school finance before.
Oh, yeah, it's not like accounting.
We had a lot of accounting fees and everything, but when it actually came in with doing the
You know,
duties and responsibilities for the school, it was a lot different.
I don't want to keep going back to him, but I mean, you know, he told us that his son graduated with his master's, a BA in accounting. He said, there's no way my son can walk into a school district and take care of their books. He said, he doesn't know anything about it. It's a different beast entirely.
in other words.
Finance directors are grown.
The experience is better.
They're grown. They're just grown. A district grows them. I mean, do we advertise with TASBO? Because we need to for something like that.
Yes.
So the business manager has to have an accounting degree?
The details to that are, and that would be something that we're looking for.
right?
But the plans is to keep him the same amount of time that we have him right now. Because he's costing us a lot of money.
I don't have the details to that, sir.
I guess we'll deal with that when we
We'll
next
do
budget, right?
later, yeah, with the budget.
Ahorita we can approve to
Yeah.
advertise.
To open the position.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, informational items, number 10, A, superintendent's report.
Any questions on the district enrollment or the ADA report in your packet?
No.
Next one.
Next item would be to update on the EOY diagnostic data in reading and math, pre-K through 8th.
Mr. Moreno has a presentation on the diagnostic data.
Yeah, so this is gonna be the reading, Lexile scores for the year. So we're gonna compare our beginning of the year to the end of the year. So if you look at this right here, this is where I'm gonna be looking at, on this page right here. I believe there should have been an extra. I don't know, Juan, if you can. Yes. So what we're gonna look at is we're gonna look at the Kinder Lexile ranges. We're really gonna look at where that K is, where it says K97, kind of looking across, perfect. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit easier for me to explain it. So this is just the ranges that a typical kindergartner is expected to be at, and it's gonna follow the same for all the grade levels. So this is what we're gonna pay attention to. This is gonna be for us, our students. So at the beginning of the year, our kindergartners fell at a beginner reading of 230. At the end of the year, they're sitting at 70. So they're actually be reading now instead of just being a beginner reader. Now they're actually reading. Overall, they had a growth. They have gained about 300 lexiles in one school year, and they're above target by 80 lexiles. So they're above where they need to be right now, which is kind of what we're hoping to see with all the grade levels. So kindergarten is rocking it right now. So grade 1, there's 74 students in grade 1. They started off at a 25 lexile. Throughout the year, they bumped all the way to a 280 lexile, which is a gain of 255 lexiles in one school year. So in one school year, we gained 255 lexiles, and that puts us above our target by 115 lexiles.
Why only 74 in first grade?
There was that's the enrollment. I know we had a drop in enrollment at the beginning of the year in first grade.
74 students only?
Yeah, there's about, the principals aren't here. I want to say there's at most 80. And there's a couple life skills students in there that can't test ISIP. But yeah, the first grade class is a really small class.
These don't match.
I'm sorry?
They're not matching, are they?
I don't think so.
Should have been.
Kinder says 97, yes. EM 225Q.
That's the math.
Oh.
That's the math one. Did they not give you like the reading one? EM is math.
Not a problem.
No. Yeah. I'll make sure you get a copy of it so that way you'll have it.
That's really wise. We should have it.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I thought I had given them both. So the grade 1, so that was again 255 and 115 lexiles. Grade 2, there's 65 students who tested. 200, they started off at 250 and we are currently at 415. They gained 165 lexiles. They are a little below target. They should be at 425. They're sitting at 415. But 10 lexiles is something that we can definitely make up in the summer. We're going to be really focusing on reading this summer. So we're going to be doing decodables for all of those elementary grade levels. Grade 3, 114 students. They started off at 425. They ended the year at 565 for a total gain of 140 lexiles. They are still below target. As you can recall, this group had a big gap in the beginning, so we're closing that gap slowly. The grade 4 is 117. This is our heavy group. This is that COVID group, starting back from, this is the ones that were kindergartners when COVID hit. They're at 485 lexiles. They're currently sitting at 580 lexiles. They gained 95 lexiles, and they're still below 270 lexiles. And that just be on the, right there at 850. They have to be at 850.
This is how they're ending?
Yeah, this is where they're ending. They took an end of year about last week, and this is where they're ending. So grade 5, they started off at 620. As you can see, they were already behind 300. And they ended at 700. They gained 80 lexiles, and they're still below target, about 250. So we're closing it because we started off about 300. So we're closing it. It's going to take some time, and that's kind of expected, especially at the 4th and 5th graders. Grade 6. Grade 6, 104 total testers. We started off at 680, again, about 300 below. We're ending at 744 for a gain of 65 lexiles, and we're still a little bit below at 285. Grade 7, it started at 755, again, below about 300 lexiles. And we grew to 810 for a gain of 55 lexiles, below 285. Grade 8, we had 770 lexiles, excuse me. And we ended at 865 for a gain of 95 lexiles.
And I can't, how many testers are that?
This is 104.
Probably have it right here.
More or less. All right. So now we're gonna jump into math. So math, 97 again. So we started at early math, 225, and we were able to cross them over that bridge into actually to the emergent math of 25 quantiles. So they've gained 200 quantiles, and they are above target already by, I was about to say 900. I was like, whoa, it's 90 quantiles. I was like, my eyes are already like, whoa. So grade 1, 74, they were at early math of 120. They grew all the way, they crossed over 120, and then they went 175 more. So they have a gain of 295, and they are above target by 55 quantiles. Grade 2, we're at 65 quantiles at the beginning of the year, and they ended at 275 quantiles. For a net gain of 210 quantiles, they are below target about 90. So for grade 3, we're at 340 quantiles. They jumped all the way to 595 quantiles. So that's a gain of 255, and they are above target 25 quantiles. Grade 4, 117, they started at 495, they ended at 635 for a net gain of 140 quantiles, and they are above by 20. Grade 5, they started, it's 110 testers, they started at 550, below about 125. They ended the year at 700. They are below 15, so we definitely closed that gap. So you can see that gap closed by about 100 quantiles. Grade 6, 104. So they started the year at 570, significantly below where they needed to be, about 200 below where they needed to be.
Quantile, what is quantile?
Quantile, it's how we measure the math. So it's kind of like a percentile in reading, like where percentage-wise the kids are performing to the other students. The in math is called quantile.
The students in the state?
Yeah, student in the state, yes. So 570 quantiles and 760 quantiles is where they ended the year. They gained about 200, and so we closed that gap of 100 or almost 200 to 60. So we're working there. The math is
Those individual tests given to the students.
Yes, this is all individual iStation tests to the test.
So my child asked me that I need to read a book, find me a 700 quintile level. What's that? I mean, what's that?
Yeah, so what,
where am I gonna find that information?
that one, when we've given to the teachers, it's lexile.com, and you can go to lexile.com and you can put in Lexile or, because this is math, so math is gonna be quantiles, right? But for Lexiles, for the book.
And how are the parents going to interpret that when they get the report? Like Sammy's asking, I'm confused. I mean, how are the parents, if they're getting those reports, how are they gonna find out what their kids are reading?
Yeah, I know, yeah. I know we've had that conversation with the principals, and we've had the conversation with the board, and that's something that we have brought up to the principals, to have those conversations with the teachers. Those are reports that, even if you were to show you the actual iStation report, which is the one with all the colors, those are actually very interactive. If you were to click on the Lexile, it'll take you and it'll give you a list of books that recommend the student. But that has to happen in those parent-teacher conferences.
Doesn't give you just the reading level?
The reading level would be that, let's just say 700 Lexile. That would be their reading level. And then, it's kind of taken away like that 1.4 levels typically what people think.
Tells you the grade level.
Yeah.
Right?
So that's kind of like the old way. Now, a lot of people are, and especially the STAR test.
Lexile.
700 Lexile is about a sixth grade student. That's about a sixth grade student, where a sixth grade student should be. The state itself transitioned to Lexiles maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. The STAR test is measured in Lexiles now. Depending on the test, a student should be expected to read, I'm going to say, for example, like the 7th grade test at about a 700 Lexile. And then that's where they need to be in order to be functioning reading at that grade level. So that's why a lot of the diagnostics transitioned to Lexile, so that way it matched with the STAR, because the STAR changed. And that's kind of like the new model of reading, that science of reading that's kind of going on. Was that transition from individual, like that 1.4 to actual Lexiles. Because a lot of, that's just the way that the transition's made with the research and stuff like that.
But honestly, I don't agree. Well, I agree to some extent, but we have a lot of students that are falling behind, and we don't know what grade level they're reading at. I mean, I can kind of say that in first grade, second grade, and third grade, I mean, there's about a good bunch of kids that cannot read.
I know that there's kids struggling reading. I wouldn't say that there's kids not reading. And I know
We have a lot of kids that are struggling reading, but I feel that it's because we're not really addressing their level. I mean, we're not giving the proper reading books. I mean, they're just not reading.
What's happening on the campuses, I can't really, I can't say what the teachers are handing out for homework. I can't talk to that. But I know we're giving the support from the staff. I know we have the decodables. We were just looking at them just a little while ago this morning. The decodable books, those are like the CBC books. So like it's the consonant, vowel, consonant. So like the cat on the mat was sat with pat, where they have that same pattern.
What was called back then, families.
Yeah.
Sat, mat.
All of that, yeah.
HEB from our.
I mean, but.
Yeah, so those.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we do have like all of that. We were actually expecting, that's what we're gonna look at for summer school. We were getting ready for summer school. So we're looking at those decodables. We're looking at the Dr. Haggerty, the phonics. All of that is what we're looking at to help bridge those gaps in reading.
I heard that at the kinder level, pre-K, they are adopting something where they're actually gonna give them a reading level. It's a program that I heard that there were a lot, because they really don't understand listening. And I know you're just a support, but I heard that for next year, they were adopting where they can actually know if the student's reading at K1 or K5 or all that, because of.
Yeah, that would be news to me, because that hasn't come to me, so I wouldn't know what's happening. As far as I know, iStation is where we're gonna stay. That's that's what we're gonna be using as our diagnostic. What the campuses use outside of iStation, that would be on them. But like I said, nobody's mentioned anything to us. So yeah, real quick. So let's go ahead and get to seventh grade. So seventh grade, there was 87 testers. We started at 765. We ended at 820, so we're below about 90. Grade 8, 104, 105 at the beginning of the year. We ended at 930. We're below 55. So we're a little bit below on math as we kind of got higher in the grade levels, but we're definitely closing that gap from where we were at the beginning of the year. And so that's the math and reading. So you can kind of see we are doing significantly a little bit better in math than we are in reading. And like I said, that's why our summer school program this year is going to focus a lot on reading. Reading is, like I said, we're going to be sending home decodables. We're going to be sending home the reading instructional coaches have already started working on phonics, all of the vocabulary, the spelling, everything that comes along with part of spelling. We're looking at all of the individual skills that are required for a student to read on grade level, and that's what we're going to focus on summer school.
And Mr. Moreno, they're going to have everything they need. They don't have to wait for 2 or 3 weeks.
Nope, everything is ready. Yeah, everything is going to be ready. So when a teacher or a student goes into summer school, everything is going to be ready. They're actually going to have 2 days to make sure that they have everything that they need, and everything should be ready. Okay. Aside from maybe a pencil, that the student may need, but other than that, we should have everything.
It's going to be grade through. I mean, from what grade to what grade?
It's going to be K8. We're going to the focus K8 for the whole grade level is going to be reading. Of course, we'll have to focus on math. A couple, we're still going to need math in there as well, but the big focus is going to be reading. Mm-hmm. And the last little bit that Ms. Jonas wanted me to share with y'all was the SAT score, so you can kind of see how we compared with our cohorts of students, which is I believe on that flip page. So if you look, the average score for our district was a 949 out of 1,600. The state average was a 940, it's not on there. It's a state average of 942, and of all testers, we're at 951. So you can see that we kind of performed about average of where the rest of the districts were. You can look at the reading. Our average score was a 496 out of 800. The state was a 477, and the 485 was at the all testers. That's nationwide in the entire country. So you can see that our students are outperforming in reading the whole country.
Good.
So that's something to celebrate. The math, we started at we ended at a 454 average. The state was a 465 and 466 for all testers. So we're a little bit behind there, 9 points, but for the most part, we're right there with the rest of the nation as well. And this was on the SAT school day.
Do you anticipate getting any scores from TEA?
I hope so. We're looking to see by the end of May, hopefully we'll have our actual scores. But,
Mr. Moreno, so le digo a Sofia, don't be too hard on yourself, mija.
yeah, yeah. A lot of kids were like, "Oh my gosh, I scored this," and I was like, "But look at the nationwide. Like you're scored on average with everybody else." It's like,
Right.
I just know that they really wanted to do really, really well.
No, that's
We have good kids.
Still.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your tennis.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank
In
you.
the state, that's special.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno.
Schedule summer budget workshop.
Okay, so we have to schedule a summer budget workshop. I need
Board,
dates. Yes, sir. I need dates.
Cuando sea.
Do we have any dates set up?
Mr. Cepeda would send us with some dates that we need.
Yes.
Yeah, se fue.
He already took off, or no?
Do we have anything set up with, what's the Lone Star? They canceled and they said they haven't
The Lone Star Governance.
called.
Star governance,
Have they sent any dates?
they were gonna wait until June after Ms. Dionis, returned.
Returned.
So ahorita no hay nada.
Yeah, right now there's nothing, no.
So do y'all want to propose dates for the summer budget workshop? Do you want to email those to me
Send
or
them by
Ms.
email.
Briones?
Yeah.
Mande?
Send them by email.
Todavía ni venimos.
Quiero piquearlo.
It's gonna be a board meeting, right?
Yes, it has to be a special. board.
And we're gonna have that, I mean,
What,
to focus only on the budget.
Yeah.
Unless it's an emergency thing and needs to be squeezed in.
what
And I would prefer Mondays, I mean, because
that you're in Pierce on what dates?
That what?
You're in Pierce on what days?
Ovalde.
Ubalde.
Puro Ovalde ahora.
So, okay. Because that needs to be.
I'm over there 8 to 5. Everything.
I'm-
Actually 7:30 to 5, 6, 7.
I would prefer, I would prefer, I don't know about the other ones on Monday, because I mean, that's where we use.
It really gets at the meeting.
I mean, my days for this is Mondays, because I don't know about the other people.
I'm flexible, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm good with Monday.
As long as it's not working hours.
Más que no eres todo.
Mr. Espinosa,
Like
Mondays
days.
work for you? To Houston?
Just that one item, nada más.
As long as it's after 5.
That's the budget workshop. In the evening works better.
Yeah,
As long as it's after 5.
at 6, I mean,
Might be the Olympics.
Alright, we already did, A&M.
Presentation, yes.
Zavala County Appraisal District Report.
Motion to adjourn. Te creas.
You all read it,
So, Business Office Report. Nada.
unless Ms. Sendejo had something she wants to add.
Don't have anything. Service Report, se fueron. CCISD Police Department Report.
All of that is in your packets?
We read it.
oh, I thought you did. Oh, we read it.
Club Financials, any questions on that? Legal fees, no questions on that? Removal of, what is that? Removal of agenda items for next board meeting? Removal?
And that was per legal counsel, Ms. Ana?
The agenda item, remember we had the agenda item for the next board meeting? Legal counsel suggested that we remove it because it's too broad of an item, it's not specific enough. and it doesn't meet the open meetings.
So we'll be removing that.
Okay.
I think the city and the housing authority did the same thing. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll email you what we want.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go back to way, you just email, whatever.
Board operating procedures where you need to.
That includes the naming of the football field for David Lopez.
Whatever we want, but yeah.
Naming of the football field, like a little sign or something.
I know it was discussed during the last board meeting, but I don't know what came about it.
No, but that one wasn't. If you wanna put it, just,
What was that, Mr. Espinosa?
algo chiquito, parent people are asking David Lopez football field name.
Okay,
Like the plaque or something?
Yeah, something, or below the scoreboard, David Lopez football field. Para la entrada, something chiquito.
All right. Motion to adjourn,
Move.
in favor? Motion passes. Zero.
That's Monsignor's an invitation to the
Yes, sir.
I just.
time and
Next Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
get up.